Now, as we celebrate Black History Month on GMA, this morning we're looking at mental health among Black women in particular and how the culture of struggling in silence is now changing with a new generation. Deborah Roberts sat down with two women who are paving the way. Good morning, Deb.
Good morning, Lindsay. And yes, paving the way, it is so important. Lately, we've heard a lot of discussion, especially from millennials, about prioritizing our mental health. But in communities of color, the conversation can be a little tricky, particularly amongst older women who prioritize strength and perseverance. Yet a mom and daughter from Maryland are trying to bridge that divide.
I would tell her about, other things going on with myself physically, but when it came to mental health, it just wasn't a discussion that we had in our family.
From a small child, my emotions, you suppress them, you suck it up, you keep it moving.
Lauren and Glenda Boone expressing a long-held belief among Black women. Keep your struggles and your innermost feelings to yourself.
The strong Black woman is the image that we admire. Did you ever think about paying attention to your mental wellness?
Never. I never thought about taking care of my mental health because my generation was taught when you talked about mental, you automatically thought mental illness. And so it was very difficult for me to even consider taking care of my mental health.
That's what we call the superwoman schema. I can do it all, push through, persevere. If I'm distressed, it's my fault and my responsibility. So going to a therapist means I'm not doing my job ultimately.
But that thinking slowly changing in communities of color.
Black women, we have always been like having to put on a mask like everything's okay.
Thanks partly to well-known figures who are bravely opening up publicly.
We are usually everybody's therapist.
Yes.
Including former Destiny's Child singer Michelle Williams, who speaks openly about her history of depression and says mental health struggles can look different in women of color.
Irritability is a missed symptom of depression because we think depression is just sadness. Once I started getting in therapy more consistently, it started giving me language to everything that I internalized, but I just didn't know what to say.
So there's strength in vulnerability.
There is strength in vulnerability. I can't tell you how strong you are when you can say, I need help, versus thinking your strength is acting out. Because the quality of life is so much better when you're not triggered all the time.
And do you think young women might be helping their mothers to think about help? Do you think that it's changing the dynamic?
It absolutely is.
When I did start the therapy, I have to be completely honest with you. I went kicking and screaming.
Lauren and Glenda living proof of that changing dynamic.
And this is our second episode of Healing Together.
Even taking their journey online in a YouTube series, hoping to inspire other intergenerational conversations among women of color.
It has helped me to understand me and the makeup of me.
Yes, yes.
My daughters let me know, you were present, but you weren't present. She, right off the bat, was, well, like you never came to a softball game. So my defense from my generation, I'm like, are you kidding me? But when I got into therapy and start taking away the layers, that was just a symbol of you provided for her, but you weren't there for her for things that were important to her.
And when you started to dig deeper, what did you start to discover about yourself?
Girl.
How much time do we have,
right? Keep talking about the hard things. That's the only way we're going to get better is if we're facing it, if we're processing it.
And what's your message to people who are closer to your age who have never even thought about therapy and counseling, but who maybe want to try it?
Don't be afraid. It will change your life if you're willing to do the work. But if you're willing to do the work, it will be the best thing that you've ever done for you.
Glenda's advice is so important because women of color are underdiagnosed when it comes to mental health issues, often because symptoms like sleep disturbances, irritability, as you heard, and self-criticism aren't seen as signs of depression, but can be. So this issue is as important as your mammogram or your pap smear.
Yes.
And as they say, it can change lives. And guys, my daughter and I know because we've done some of this work and we've dug deep, and it's not easy, but we've come so much closer together because of therapy and counseling.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I think it's amazing. I love that there's strength in vulnerability. It's a really simple sentence and means so much.
So much.
And so important to have the conversations to normalize the idea of therapy and talking about it. Deb, thank you so much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Deborah Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.